Hey there! Check out the new video from Heavy Mining Equipment, where we'll be breaking down some of the most dangerous moments from around the world and from our mine. Stick with us, because we're starting right away. We're kicking off today's video with what I consider the most valuable machines in any mine. Machines without which the trucks would be practically useless. That's right, the Komatsu D375A-8 Bulldozer and the CAT 18M 3 Grader. Enjoy the walkthrough. Classic error by a concrete boom pump operator. The more you stretch that boom out, the higher the chances the whole vehicle tips over. And yep, that's exactly what happened here. If you're a fan of old Soviet equipment, then you're definitely in the right place. This is the TT4, a Soviet-era crawler tractor made mainly for forestry work, especially for hauling logs. Built since 1969 at the Altai tractor plant, it's known for being tough, reliable, and made to handle rough terrain and heavy-duty tasks. Let's break it down. It weighs about 12.8 tons and is powered by a 110 horsepower A01 ML diesel engine. Its top speed is around 20 kilometers per hour. Not bad. The undercarriage features 500 millimeters wide tracks and nearly half a meter of ground clearance. With a reversible transmission offering 8 forward and 4 reverse gears, it's built to take on demanding jobs. The winch is no joke either. It can pull up to 12 tons. The cab, simple but effective. It fits 2 people, has heating, a fan, a first aid kit, and a water tank. All the controls are within easy reach, which makes working in the field a bit more bearable. It runs on rear-wheel drive with a balanced suspension and 4 bogies, 2 on each side, giving it great stability on rough ground. You can also hook up extra tools like a root cutter, dozer blade drill, or even a welding generator. And besides forestry, it's been used for land clearing and prepping construction sites too. Here's what happens when you're working on unregulated construction sites. One wrong move is all it takes for things to go south fast. Material comes crashing down on the machines, and more often than not, it ends in tragedy. In some cases, the entire building gives way just because the foundation was dug out carelessly. And here's what happens when you rush on the job. The concrete mixer driver lost control and ended up in a ditch. This kind of thing happens all the time, because drivers are in a hurry to keep the concrete from setting and to squeeze in as many loads as possible for more money. Blinded by greed, they often don't think about their own safety or anyone else's. It's always nice to see a fully built and constructed bollard being tested. In its full application, there's so much more to it than just a pipe sticking out of the ground. This is so satisfying to watch. I could watch it all day. The cable snapped and a large sheet of metal fell right near the workers. Fortunately, no one was killed. Same situation at this factory. The cable snapped, and by pure luck, no one was standing underneath. I think accidents like this often happen because of worn-out equipment. Workers rarely check the condition of their gear, so accidents like this are very common, and very often deadly. The guy who got out of the cab was like, "Dude, Snoop Dogg was here." Moving on to the eastern part of Turkey, where a Cat 140M grader ran into a bit of trouble. What happened? Let's take a look. Well, classic oops from the operator. He went a little too far to the side, and there it is, slid right off the road. He probably tried to pull himself out, but the more he tried, the more it slid downhill. Real tricky situation. But here's what I don't get. The chains are just hanging off the ripper. If you know you're working in snow like that, why wouldn't you put them on the wheels? Maybe he could have taken the grader down and cleared a single pass. But the real question is, would he have been able to make it back up? The ground's all wet from the snow, and I think he made the right call, waiting for the loader to jump in and help. We're still in those cozy winter vibes, and we've got one of the worst possible scenarios that could happen to you in the middle of nowhere, right in the dead of winter. The Shantway bulldozer got stuck. Well, you could say it's a swamp. The operator misjudged the surroundings, probably didn't notice the water because of the snow, and boom! He sank so badly it looked like they might not get him out until spring. Another bulldozer and a grader will try to pull him out, so let's watch and see. The good thing is that the grader has front-wheel drive. Believe me, that's a really useful thing. And I'm speaking from my own experience. But even that didn't help. Not even after they tried a second time. On the third attempt, they tried towing it out with both the grader and the bulldozer, so let's see how that turns out. Looks like they're gonna make it, just a little more. And there it is. They did it. They were lucky to have a dozer there to help. If they had only a grader, that thing would have stayed stuck there till spring. Geez, look at this. Man, this is madness. Must be hundreds of trucks, excavators, blast hole drills out there. Absolute chaos. What's strange to me is I didn't see a single bulldozer, grader, or loader. But what really caught my eye is this. A landslide. One of the most dangerous things that can happen in a mine. Landslides are common in unregulated sites like this Jade mine in Myanmar, where safety is ignored and high walls aren't built properly. Now imagine you're the new guy, and dispatch tells you, go to excavator number 25. Pretty messed up, right? Pretty wild watching a 252 metric ton excavator climb a 5-meter high bench. Let's check it out. Kolubara coal mine, Serbia. A worker transport bus got stuck in the mud. A nasty mix of dirt, coal dust, and water. Pretty much the worst combo you can get. The only thing left to do was call in the bulldozer for help. So let's see how that played out. Looks like it's gonna work. After the first towing cable snapped, the second attempt did the job. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the bulldozer really is the most valuable machine in any mine. And here's what happens when you don't have a dozer on site. Although, judging by how soaked the ground is, I'm not even sure a dozer could have helped. Might have gotten stuck all the way up to the cab. Anyway, both machines got themselves pretty well stuck. Now the question is, who was trying to help who? Did the John Deere tractor come to pull out the loader, or was it the other way around? Judging by the position they ended up in, I'd say the cat loader got stuck first, and the tractor followed while trying to pull it out. Makes sense. A machine with a log grapple clamp wouldn't have much luck pulling a tractor out of the mud. But let's see if they can manage to pull themselves out of this mess.
Put the bait down! Put the bait down a bit.
Yep, can't really blame the driver. On the surface, the ground looks dry, but underneath, danger's just waiting. We've all been in a situation like this at some point. And they made it out, but only with the help of a towing vehicle. Glad they got through it. Anyway, let's move on to the next clip. We're still in the world of forestry machines. And now this is something different, something Russian. Thumbs up if you're a fan of old Soviet technology. May I present to you the TT4, arguably the best Soviet-era skidding tractor ever built. A few minutes ago I mentioned the ground was so soaked that not even a bulldozer could help. And I meant it. The soil is so saturated it's basically turned to jelly, with water seeping straight out of the mud. So what do we have here? Okay, an old Ural truck got stuck pretty bad. Since the bulldozer couldn't pull it out on its own, they decided to bring in a crane. Let's see how this recovery mission plays out. They figured out the best move is to have the crane lift the truck while the bulldozer pulls it from the front. As the dozer pulls, the crane follows along. Looks pretty interesting. Let's see how it goes. And a little more, just a bit. Think they're gonna made it, and they did. Cool. Next clip, please. And now the real deal begins. The ultimate tug-of-war in Italy. Sit back and enjoy the show. This is going to be interesting. Let's watch.
Oh, e tira! E tanto tira!
And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Metal tracks versus rubber tracks. Who's going to take the win? Well, it looks like two sets of rubber tracks are stronger than one set of metal tracks after all. Don't know about you, but to me, this looks like hot steel poop. June 2nd, 2021, Tehran, Iran. 11 people were injured in a massive explosion that rocked an oil refinery in Tehran. The exact cause remains unknown, but based on what the surveillance camera captured, I'd say the tank was overfilled. It was most likely old and had corrosion on the inside wall. Eventually, the weakened sidewalls gave way, the seam weld broke, and the tank split open. And just like that, boom! And for the finale, we've saved a disaster even bigger than the one at the Tehran oil refinery. If you were wondering why your brand new Galaxy Note 20 Ultra didn't show up back then, well, here's your answer. It all happened on November 30th, 2020, when the container ship 1 Apus was making its way across the Pacific, heading from China to Long Beach, California. About 1,600 kilometers northwest of Hawaii, the vessel ran into a brutal storm, massive winds and towering waves, and then pure chaos. Over 1,800 containers were either lost overboard or collapsed right there on deck. We're talking entire stacks of cargo crashing down like dominoes. Some of those containers were carrying hazardous materials, while many others were filled with high-end electronics. And yup, like I said, if you were wondering why your Galaxy Note 20 Ultra never showed up, well, now you know. Damage estimates? Over $200 million. The ship had to turn back to Kobe, Japan for inspections and repairs. It remains one of the biggest single cargo losses ever recorded at sea. All it took was one storm. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment telling us what kind of chaos you'd like to see next. Until then, stay safe and stay curious.